Good morning, guys. I was coming by the shop this morning, already in town, had a few minutes and figured I would stop by and work on just my launch control timing table. Now the two-step on this car has never been, all the times we've been on the track, it's never been exactly like I like it. It's been good enough to make the passes that we have, which haven't been but a couple, but we've made probably 30 or 40 partial passes, and it's been good enough to get us by. But now that we've actually made some full hits, I wanted to dial it in just a little bit. So what better way than just to come up here and work on one specific thing. So let's crank the car up, get some heat in it, and bounce it off a couple times and make some adjustments and see if we can find the spot we like. Okay, I think I got it where I want it. We're going to get on the laptop here and go over the data log, and then we're going to look at the settings in the two-step launch control, and I'm going to show you how I've got it set up to make it do what it's doing. So hopefully this will help somebody kind of set up their launch table, especially if they're a stick shift V8 car and you're using Fueltech. So let's look at it. Okay guys, bear with me. This is my first time doing a screen recording, but I figured it'd be a nice technical touch to some of our videos if I would share some of the stuff that I kind of rough my way through with tuning and stuff. I am in no way a tuner. I know enough to kind of figure out my own stuff on my car, but I've got a lot to learn, and I'll be the first to admit that. But here's the information about my launch control that I'm using for that last little video test you've seen. So first thing we're under is Wastegate boost control. You can see that our target is 7 psi. We've got a maximum boost enabled at 8 psi. So it's going to do all it can to keep it limited to that and not go over. Make sure you have your bottle pressures and stuff accurate to what your regulator is, so it knows how much CO2 to put in there to kind of get things under wraps. So next section we'll look at is the two-step rev limiter. 4,700 RPM is what we're after here. The fuel enrichment, this RPM thing is pretty standard. You know, start before compensation, 100 RPM. Got 90% cut over here. But the fuel enrichment, I used to have 15%, and it kind of sounded like you was blowing a straw underwater. Like it just sounded really, really muddy, like it wasn't happy. So I backed that off to just 5% enrichment, and it seemed to like it pretty good. So as far as the timing, I've got a timing table for rev launch. You can do fixed timing here and put that at one number. Like when my car was on C16, I did that at -4. Yeah, it shot a lot of flames, but it took it a long time to get up on the RPM because it just slammed it down right off the get-go as soon as I pushed the clutch in. So I'll show you that timing table next. So here's the timing table. And you can see I'm giving it a lot of timing up to right before the RPM where it needs to be. So I'm pretty much letting the motor just free rev and then throwing the negative timing in it as soon as it gets to the desired RPM. This lets the motor get up there quick and then it puts the brakes on. So when it starts throwing the negative in there, that's when your pops and bangs are going to happen. And that's when your boost is going to start building, because until then, you know, you just got the weight of your clutch, your flywheel. That's pretty much the only resistance you have with a stick shift car, and it relies on this negative timing to put boost on the motor with the explosions in the pipe. So let's look at the data log, and I'll show you. So right here we have 0. So to do that, right click. You can do set 0 time. This will put 0 exactly where your cursor is. So the reason why I've done that, look at the orange. You see 5.2. When I back it up, that's 4.8. That's what my resting TPS is. So I put 0 right there because my next increment, it starts to go up. So that's when I'm touching the throttle. So pay attention to the TPS over here, the map pressure, and the timing. That's the main things I want you to look at. So as we keep going up here, we see that we reach desired RPM around 1/2 of a second. So it revs pretty quick. You'll notice halfway up the RPM range, watch the timing. You're at 26 degrees. As we approach the 4,700, it starts pulling it out. Right when we get to 4,700, then it starts to go into the negative. Pay attention to the map pressure right here. You can see it starts building pretty quick. 7 psi is what we're after. And right there, around 1.5 seconds, we have achieved 7 psi. Well, not quite 1.5 seconds, like 1.3 seconds or something like that. So that's pretty quick. That's enough for me. And everything just looks really smooth. Look at the two-step there. No, it's going up really smooth. Our AFRs are 4.0. I think they're bouncing between like 3.8 and 4.0. Yeah, right there's 3.8. And right there, it does a really good job of holding the boost where we command it. I think at one point over here, it gets right there 8.2 psi, and then it starts pulling it back down. So it's doing a really good job. That's exactly how I want it. I don't think with this car we're going to need any more than that. But everything just seems to flow really good with how those settings are. So I hope this video helps. I'll try to bring you more data logs and stuff like this. A little screen recorder here won't let me record but 10 minutes. It's a little free when I downloaded. So hopefully y'all will get something from this data. So like I said earlier in the video, I'm not a professional tuner. I don't claim to be. There's a lot that needs to be learned by myself when dealing with tuning a car like this, but I figured I would share a little bit about my launch control for somebody that might have a stick shift V8 car that's trying to figure out how to set it up from scratch. That might speed up the process a little bit. So hope you learned something today. I'll try to bring you more videos like this, you know, more technical videos, some stuff I've struggled through, and maybe it'll help somebody along the way. So see you guys next time.